best-selling author, Paul Peters, is with us. Good morning, Paul.
Morning, Ron.
So, are you writing another book? Is that, or were you just studying on the AI?
No, I'm not going to write a book on AI. It's I'm not I'm not the person to do that. I'm the one that's going to be using AI, hopefully in preparation for more books that I'm going to be writing. So,
I want to just throw something out there, and sometimes I get harebrained schemes, Paul. So I'm going to throw it at you live as I think about it. But I've been I'm a big proponent of AI, and it all has to do. You can use it as the next Google, or you can use it as a research assistant, or you can use it as a virtual assistant, all depending upon how in depth you want to get. But Paul, you and I have chatted in past broadcasts that we've got a mutual affinity in the special world of special needs and helping folks that have special needs. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, if I were to put in a diagnosis or some level of background of an individual, a 31-year-old male in Orange County, California, with XYZ diagnoses and symptoms, and then put that into deep research and said, can you tell me what services are available in Orange County, California, and where might I get them for this individual? Do you think I would come back with anything of value?
Oh, most definitely. It's interesting. My one of my services that I did when I started the company was called a community navigator or case manager. And that's what we did. We found resources for families. And so now AI allows the family to go ahead and go to the internet, put the right questions. And we talked about the prompt, what you ask it, you'll get from it. And you can actually get that information from the internet without having to hire somebody to do it. So it's very efficient means of getting answers, specifically in the disability community.
But the trick there, I think, was in part of your sentence, is you have to have the right prompt.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So you have to have a little bit of knowledge of what you need or looking for, because I think so many people right now are just saying, I'm going to put what services are available for my child. Not going to get the right answer there. So how do you find those right prompts?
Well, it's just like, for example, if somebody's setting a goal, I want to go to Alaska, you have to be very specific as to where you want to go. And then the prompts will basically go deeper and deeper. I kind of liken it to Alice in Wonderland. You can go as deep as you want. And so when you're asking the right prompts, then you're going to get the answers you're asking for. But if it's very general, then you'll get very general answers. So I think people need to be educated on the use of AI.
That's the whole thing right there. And ironically enough, one of the things I like the most is because, I'm in radio. So what radio people do best is repurpose. I just go in there and ask AI, what do you need from me to give me the right answer, to do this research?
Yeah.
Right. That's another portion of what we can do, right?
Correct.
What are your,
it'll take you as deep as you want to go, which is very interesting, because you may not have the knowledge of what you're researching, but the AI does. And so that's where you ask the right questions and it will give you the answers. It's almost like going and getting a 4-year college degree, because it's going to give you the answers that you need.
Now, how do you verify that the answer is a correct answer and not a hallucination?
Well, part of it is you got to do your own research. I would definitely recommend you vet the potential people who are going to be training or teaching you or your company on that, to make sure that they're legitimate. And I think once you do that, you can kind of cross-reference to see what the information is legitimate.
So I had I was sitting and chatting with somebody over the weekend, and my comment was I like the 10-80-10 rule of AI. So I know 10% of what I want, and I feed that into my AI, and I use several of them, so it's not just one. Let AI do 80% of the work, and then I've got to do the final 10% to do verification and smoothing and make it look like me. And are you doing something like that, or do you have a better solution?
Well, kind of like that. I mentioned you earlier, I was at a conference, and one of the speakers was an organization called Delphi. They focus on digital cloning, which is basically taking your information content, your voice, your video, all of that. And they put it together almost as if it is you, but it's in digital. So to give you an example, so once it's all completed, somebody can call me, they will hear my voice, they can ask questions of me, I will answer as if I'm really me. And so, I mean, that's the depth of the technology of where they're going with this. And like I said, we're just at the very beginning part of what AI will be able to do for us.
Yeah, when we were getting ready for the broadcast, I was saying that I had a meeting with somebody yesterday, and they said that their constituency says that they're about done with AI. And I just laughed, because how could anybody be done with an infant? Right? It's so new. We're going to continue this conversation with Paul Peters when we come back. Continuing our conversation, we are chatting with best-selling author Paul Peters, chatting about AI. And hey, we're getting some inside scoop because he went to the conference. We don't have to, but we can still learn from him. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Ron.
So tell me your top 2 or 3 takeaways from the conference.
Well, one is, it's interesting. I actually heard these folks from Delphi speak before, so it's kind of hit my brain to think, okay, if, we all get very busy, and I know you having your own show, is if you could buy time and be able to replicate yourself or clone yourself, you could get more accomplished. And that was very intriguing for me, where if they can take my information, my content, my shows, everything I've done, and basically recreate me. So if I'm too busy in one meeting, somebody can call me, or I can be on a meeting and I can answer with my clone as if I'm actually on the meeting. And to me, it's like, wow, that is so cool. And so I think that is very intriguing to see how much advanced AI is, not only now, but will become, because take the internet back in the 80s or whenever it came to be, where we're at now. And so we're looking at the very beginning of something that's going to transform the world. So
it is amazing. And I'm glad that they're starting to put some safeguards into some of the AI too, because could you imagine if your image and likeness and voice gets hijacked somewhere, right? It could cause some serious problems, especially in your world where you helping special needs individuals. The correct information is essential. And if somebody wants to use it for nefarious purposes, it could be devastating.
Correct. You think about the power of social media, where people can be falsely accused of something and it's not even them, it's an AI. And so it's very dangerous if it's in the right, just like a weapon in the hands of the wrong person is going to create problems. A weapon in the right hands is going to save somebody's life. And I think that's very important for folks to understand. AI is just a tool, just like everything else. But if it's used properly, it can be transformational.
And something, and I agree with you. We're right there on such an early level of it that, it's amazing that we don't even know what is capable. I mean, I'm sure you're about the same age as me, Paul, but you remember the Jetsons, right? When we were kids, the cartoon. Okay, Josh, don't laugh at us. The Jetsons. You'd hear about these flying helicopters and flying taxis, and now they've got them in New York.
Yeah.
So what's AI going to do, and where are we going to head with AI, with all of these things? And I love the idea because I've talked on the broadcast. I get up about 4 every morning to start prepping for the show, and I can do a lot of research with putting in the correct prompts, and get a lot of good data to share with our audience.
Yeah.
So how are you using it? And when you're talking about it for business purposes, for business people, what do you see as some of the biggest benefits for a business person?
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting. When I was doing my research on this, the careers that are going to be affected are manufacturing, customer service, and administrative. And so, but for me, for example, as a business owner, one of the things that I'm striving for is efficiency. Unfortunately, when you work with humans, you're going to have inefficiency. And I think that's where the advantage is for an employee. How can they make their company more productive, more efficient with the use of AI? It is going to affect some folks depending on what their career choice is. But the key is using AI that's going to make your company more efficient, cost saving, but not necessarily lose your people. Because the one thing that AI can't do is that human element, that touch. And so there's going to be somewhat of a change in careers. as people who are in those that AI is going to be replacing. And I think that's the biggest concern. But right now, I don't know if your audience has ever seen the movie AI with Will Smith. The problem with AI in the movie, what they basically had their own brain, and they were able to make choices apart from the creator. And that's where it becomes, when you add in the emotions that we mess with us, creates problems. That's where people are concerned about the AI, not only taking jobs, but what happens if they get humanized and they get angry and they do all these things? That's where the scare tactic is.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. But something, I look at some of the things I just look and say, I know that I send, you look at having to do accounting things. And I would certainly think that AI, you could throw in a whole bunch of different invoices and get it to sort them and create, help with some of the accounting that's, pretty basic stuff. But now I wouldn't want it to go writing my checks for me or anything like that. But, those are some of the efficiencies, but the individual has to be, like I said, giving it that 10%, the input, and then the final 10%, checking those outputs.
Correct.
Did you what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that's the key, is you've got to make sure the information is high integrity, because if there's a compromise on that integrity, i.e. truth, whatever information you have in there, it's going to be skewed. I think that's the potential danger. It's only as good as the information in there.
Now, do you think you're going to be able to use it with your TV show, or is it going to, how might you even be using it?
Well, right now I'm just using it for research. So I'm gathering information on different things that I don't have to spend hours in researching or my assistant doing. It'll allow me to get the information needed so I can get on a show, or because I plan on, like yourself, doing more shows. It allows me to really expedite the preparation.
So you can just come up with a thought process. Now, I know that I don't know all of them. I haven't gone to as many conferences. I've gone through one or two, but one of the things that I've found that's pretty intriguing to me is I can actually have a conversation with, I did it with ChatGPT. I had a conversation with it over a course of 3 or 4 days, and then said, okay, now give me a summary. So an action plan, which translated into an action plan for Josh. But those are the things that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
How do you foresee using it? So one of the businesses I know that you have is the one you talked about a little bit, that helping special needs individuals.
Yes.
How do you foresee it helping that clientele or your business there?
Well, I mean, I think you started it off. It's just, if somebody has a particular need, and the key is education. And if they have that education, we can guide and direct them to get the information they need. We deal with a lot with folks who aging parents and their children are needing a place to live. So it provides that information in particular areas all over North Carolina and eventually all over the U.S. So it provides that needed information and really connects the dots a lot quicker than people say, I don't know where to go. I don't know how to do this. So a lot of our folks who have disabilities need to get onto Medicaid. You can simply get in there AI and it'll walk you through the whole process.
Have you done it yet?
I have done it, yeah.
And were the results? Were you satisfied with the results when you did it?
Oh, very much so. Now it's just a matter of teaching our families how to do that. I mean, we don't mind answering the questions, but a lot of times they're waiting on us to get them the answers. And we're actually going to be doing a workshop on how to access AI to get information related to your child.
Wow. And when they're talking about the idea of it taking jobs, and you already addressed that a little bit, I'm going to submit that, you've talked about that you service the North Carolina area, but with the AI information, you could probably even expand your business, because, now you can be just as knowledgeable in South Carolina as you are in North Carolina.
Right. It opens the door to expansion. Correct.
Yeah, it's a fascinating world. And I think you hit it, the analogy perfect when you talk about, AI is to tomorrow what the internet is to today.
Yes.
Fascinating. We're going to continue our conversation with Paul Peters when we come back. Continuing our conversation, best-selling author Paul Peters is with us. We're chatting about AI. We're chatting about business. We're chatting about small business expansion. The only thing we haven't talked about is your books. What's the latest book, Paul?
Well, I'm working on trying to finish a book called The Inheritance. It's a fiction based on a gentleman that finds his purpose and then leaves his inheritance to his kids. Condition is they've got to find their purpose, and he puts them through various tests. And then I've got another book I'm writing called The Purpose Code that's hopefully getting both of them coming out around Christmas time.
Wow, that the first one you said there sounds so interesting to me, just because we've had estate and trust attorneys come on the program, and we don't talk about it from the aspect that you're talking about, from the purpose, but just from the fundamentals, and how many people create a trust and never fund them, or they have it done wrong, or they set it up when they've got young kids, and they leave their house to the kids, and now they got a problem because kids can't enter into contracts. So, and now I don't know about North Carolina. California, obviously, we like to tax everything. So, if the trust isn't done the right way and the property goes in and the estate goes into probate, now you got a big expense.
Yeah.
So, are you touching on those things in the book, or is it more of the story?
Well, it's interesting. I'm going to answer it in two ways. So one of the things that I did when I set up my company is I brought on an attorney. She actually is one of our staff. She does what is called alternate family living, where she has a child with a disability that lives with her. She is an estate attorney. So we actually, pro bono for our families, we have them go through conversations with her to prepare for, which is the trust, a will, all of those things. So we prepare our families, no cost to them, to ensure that they're properly prepared. I've had two family members who passed away, left their money to their disabled child, which of course, that creates a big old mess. So we really try to be proactive on that. And relating to the book, he ends up passing away. He's a billionaire. But so what, and you probably heard about this many times, families do not prepare the people they're leaving their money to how to handle that money. Part of the test that he's going to run his grandkids through is, how do you prepare? How do you handle money? Basically, it helps them develop the character needed to be able to truly earn that money and be able to use it responsibly. And that's a key element that I think is very important. If you're going to leave money to your children or grandchildren, family members, make sure they're prepared and trained in how to use it properly.
Yeah, that's a very, very important part. And I know, a lot of people don't do it the way you're suggesting there, which I think is a great way.
Yeah.
But I have had many families that just say, because they've never thought of what you're suggesting. But I have many families that have said, okay, I'm going to give a third of it when they're 30, a third at 40, and a third at 50. And if they can't figure it out by that time, oh, well, that's their problem. Right. I mean, it's an interesting dilemma, and when you tie it into the special needs world, that opens up a whole nother level of knowledge that you need to deal with.
Yeah.
Are you using AI in it at all?
We will be. I'm going to be working with my attorney on that for those situations. So yes.
So it's going to be out around Christmas time. How do we keep track of when it comes out?
I will. They can find me on paulpeters.online. We will be putting out information as to when it's going to be released.
paulpeters.online.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't, there's got so many of these different suffixes now. Can't even figure out all of them. We go to Paul Peters Online. Do we have that on the screen there, Josh, somewhere? Paul Peters Online. Okay. Well, you can call us at 800-306-1990. We know where to find Paul. So we've got that opportunity as well. You've got other books that you've done though, haven't you?
Yeah. My first one was Discovering and Embracing Your Life Purpose. Second one was The Ways of Wisdom. And then the third one I co-wrote with Jack Canfield, which is Success Redefined.
So you're going to end up having 5 by the end of this year.
Yes.
Whew. Now, is the plane trip from Dallas to North Carolina, is that your writing time? I mean, writing, TV, running a business, you're a busy guy.
Yes, very.
Get a little peace and quiet on the plane, I would assume.
That's what I usually do. I take it out.
Oh, you take it out? Okay. Okay. It's interesting stuff. So, I'm just fascinated by how people are using the AI in this world, just because there's so much to it, and the efficiencies that you can get out of it. Now, I don't know, I guess I would assume not handwrite it, but type yourself, or do you what is the methodology one uses to write a book?
Well, my first three actually, I had to get away. I do a lot of my writing at the beach. It's very calming for me. And actually, what I would start do is I'd put these big old pieces of paper. I'd brainstorm with the ideas, then I'd formulate them into the content, and then I sat down at the computer and started writing.
How long does it take you to do a book?
About 3 to 4 months. My first and second one took that long.
Interesting. And are your books on Amazon, or do you do them by yourself?
Yeah, they're on Amazon.
Interesting. What's your favorite part of the writing or the processes? Is it, or the business? Is it the books? Is it the business, or is it all merged?
Favorite part of writing is finishing it. It's interesting. I actually made my first book into an Audible, and it was so cool to listen, because I actually hired a person to speak it. He was, I believe, from Australia. And it was so cool to hear my writing being spoken to by somebody else. I literally had tears, because I was like, wow, this is amazing. That this something was once a dream is now a reality. That's hopefully is blessing a lot of people.
So that poses another question then, is, do you anticipate on the next books, one, are you going to do them in Audible? Because people like me that don't read, I love to listen to books when I walk. And do you think that you'll have to hire somebody to do it, or will AI be able to do it?
Interesting question. I'm going to look into that. I did hire somebody for the first book. The last book I did the Audible myself, which I'm just waiting for that to be finished. So I have a couple different options. I have to see how I sound on Audible. But the last one I did myself.
Yeah, it's fascinating how that is, because I think it was, we had someone come in here, and I think it was Steve Sims when he came in, and he had to audition to record his own Audible book.
Mm.
I think it was Steve. It might've been somebody else, but I think it was Steve. And it was fascinating that he had to audition, because the publishers said, they want it to be done a certain way if they're going to publish it. And it was fascinating that, when he said he had to do it, and he said, who are you going to get to have my voice? And unfortunately, Steve's not with us anymore, but it was a fascinating conversation. But I wish you a lot of luck on the 2 new books. I can't wait to see your favorite part of them. They're finished, and we'll have to get you back on to chat about them at that time. If you want more information about Paul Peters and his books and his businesses and what he's doing, again, all you have to do is give us a call at 800-306-1990.